Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm bringing you a kind of November and December TBR. So in trying to figure out what I wanted to read for November, since I have the will to read but no motivation to pick up anything in particular, I decided to hop on what Vicky and Tori were doing and do the Clear Your Shit readathon, which is actually over November and December. Now there's more to it than what I'm joining in on, but mine is just to give me like some motivation to get stuff done. That's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the things like the prompts and the books and just tell you what I'm planning on reading in the next 2 months. I'm trying the last couple of months of the year to try and clear my TBR of everything that's been there pre-2023. So I've literally pulled them all off my cart. I found a prompt for all of them because there are a lot of prompts. It's a 2-month readathon. And then any prompt that I've not filled up, I filled up with other books. Mostly pre-orders that I know are books that I want to read immediately when I get them, but I'll go over that. So I'm just going to go through it all best I can and go through my TBR for the next couple of months. I don't know if I'll do another TBR type thing in December. We'll see how we go. Currently, the amount of books that are on this TBR is technically doable within a month and a half-ish, depends. And I'm also kind of mostly willing to DNF and unhaul and be brutal about it. So I've already DNF'd and unhauled 5 books off of my pre-2023 TBR because I read the first chapter or like looked at the synopsis. I tried to read the first chapter of all of them and with the encouragement of Tori and Vicky just punted them if I wasn't sure about them, because I don't want to be pushing through books that I have no interest in reading. But yeah, I'm going to stop waffling and just get straight into this. Again, I'm not quite sure what this readathon, this is the first time I've ever looked at this readathon before. There are graphics to go with it, but there's a story and everything. I don't know, I just have the prompts. And there's things. There's also like 3 TBD positions because there's like mini boss battles. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So they're a TBD if I want to add something to them when those prompts come out. But this round is built on the zodiac. So we've got every zodiac sign. We've got I'm just going to go through it and we'll figure it out. It's fine. So the first is Gemini. Read a book with 2 main characters. And for this, I've just popped on whatever next Lindsay Sands book I need to read. This is the next one I need to read that I was planning on reading this month, but I'll probably just read next month. And that's Vampire Most Wanted. There are 2 main perspectives in this. So there is Basha and Marcus. And yeah, Basha is an ingenue, but she is in hiding because she thinks that she is thought of as a rogue. And Marcus is Christian's cousin? I can't remember. I think cousin. Sorry, here. And we've seen him in other books, so it's just about them 2 getting together, but it also expands the world more when it brings in Leonius. Leonius has been seen, he's the one, his son took Danny when we met Danny way back, but this kind of like pulls Leonius more into the front of the background plot. Anyway, I remember this one fairly well, I think. It's not my favourite, but you know, that I still love these books. Next is Libra. Let someone choose between 2 books for you. So for that I asked Tori and Vicky, because they were on a backyard stream thing with me, to choose between 2 books, and they chose Gory Details by Erica Inglehart. I think that's how you pronounce that. And this is a non-fiction book about gory things, forensic-y, biology, chemistry-ish type things. I know pretty much nothing about this. It's like about gross things, taboo things like decomposition, and considering I studied forensic science, this is right up my alley. Vicky has already read it and has said that she wants to know what I think of this because, like I say, it's kind of right up my alley. gross things like this don't really weird me out. So we shall see. But this is a non-fiction, if I hadn't said before. But I'm quite excited to read it, and it's got such a beautiful cover. This is actually a newer one. This is not pre-2023, but I needed to fill all the prompts. Next up is Aquarius, and that is read a fantasy book or a book with fantasy-like aspects. And on my pre-2023 TBR, I only had one of these books, and it was supposed to be in last month's TBR, but I fell off the TBR wagon last month, as you will see in my wrap-up. So I chose Afterlove by Tanya Byrne. This is a YA fantastical book about a girl who dies at midnight on New Year and is recruited to be a Reaper, I think, and she wants to go back and see her girlfriend. It's got beautiful spray edges. It's the favourite edition that Tori gifted to me. I should have read this at least on 3 other TBRs, so it's getting read or it's getting punted. That's what's happening. If I don't read them all, I'll be trying the chapter of them all. Next is Air Element. Read a lightweight or short book. For this, I've chosen The Keening by Margaret Pennard. Again, this one has been on so many TBRs. It is just over 200 pages. In fact, it is 258 pages long. So, very short book. And the text is quite large, and the whole page isn't filled up with text. So it is a short read, and I've just been putting it off because I'm intimidated, because I spoke to Margaret herself, and, you know, I don't want to dislike this book. So I've been putting it off. So now is the time to just rip off the band-aid and just do it. This, I don't know what it's about. I know it's about Scotland. I know it's about a family, and that I really don't know. I should have thought about that before I actually purchased it, I think. Next is Air Signs. Read a book with multiple perspectives. For this, I chose Daughters at War by Dania Jeffries. This is about 3 sisters, Helene, Elise and Florence, who are in France, I believe, during the Second World War? Yes, 1944. I don't really know much else. It's been compared to The Nightingale in reviews, so I'm very, very interested to read this. I just don't know why. Again, with all of them, I'm going to say, I don't know how I have not gotten into this yet. Because you've been binging romance books, Andy, that's why. Thank you to Becca for being the one to introduce me to contemporary romance in a way that caused me to go off the rails and have now an entire bookshelf full of contemporary romance. Thanks, Becca. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this for that prompt. The next is A Free Space, and for that I've popped in Unnatural Death by Patricia Cornwell. That comes out in November, and it is the newest instalment of her K Scarpetta series, which is the series that I love. It runs along the top of my bookshelves. There are so many books, and I'm really looking forward, because she took ages away from writing and then came back with, this is now the 3rd book after her break, and I am loving being back with Kay and with Lucy and all the other characters, and just getting some good forensic science in there. I do love Patricia Cornwell. She is one of my favourite authors of all time, and she can do no wrong. Next one is a mini boss one, and it's strength, and that's going to be so you pick a strength, pick a weakness, pick a weapon, and whatever you've chosen now, when they release the prompts, there'll be a prompt for each thing. So my strength is a book realist. Owned unread is under 100 books, because it's down at like 80 something. Sorry, my laptop is taking off. So yeah, whatever that prompt is, I'll fill it in when we get it. The next is Taurus, and that is read a book with an aesthetically pleasing cover. God, my mouth tried to do that before it was ready there. And for that I've chosen A Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. Tell me that's not beautiful. Like, you've got the gold foiling accents, it's a stack of books. I did start this and soft DNF'd it because I just wasn't in the mood for it. It is set in Kentucky, back when people were still using like horses, and there was like Pony Express and stuff. That's as far as I got into the book, but I do have the audiobook on hold from my library, so that will help me to get through this book, because it's the only Jojo Moyes book that I have that I haven't read, and I've loved all the others, so by all means I should love this one. I just need to get to it. Next is Virgo, and that is to read either a high stakes or a low stakes book, and for that I've chosen 3 Sisters by Heather Morris. This is a based on true events story about 3 sisters who, I don't know if all of them went to Auschwitz or just some of them went to Auschwitz, but Auschwitz is involved. So pretty sure that's high stakes. Like, this is literally their lives that we're dealing with here. So yeah, I bought this and another book that's in here while I was in hospital and on a lot of medication, so I'm not even sure what it's about. I just know that it is written by the same person as The Tattoos of Auschwitz, and it is World War II historical fiction based on the lives of real people. That's right up my alley. Next is Capricorn, and that is read a book with a character with lots of ambition, and for that, again, something that was on last month's TBR, and that's Cunning Women, or Women, by Elizabeth Lee. And I've chosen this for this prompt because this is about women realising their power, which to me seems like an ambitious thing. There's this girl called Sarah, and her family are cunning folk, and then this magistrate comes to town, and I'm assuming witch trials. But yeah, so this is about women trying to find their power, and yeah, it says when women are cast out, they must find their own power. So, ambition, power. Shut up. Earth element is the next prompt, and for that it is read a heavy or a long book, and for that I decided I wanted to punish myself, apparently, because I decided that I was going to read Ordinary Monsters by G.M. Miro. Look at the size of this book. Thing is though, right, the thing is, this is only 600 and something pages long. It is a chunker. It is a 20 plus hour audiobook, which I will be borrowing from Tori, thank you very much. And it's the longest book on my TBR. But it is not the longest book in my library. That goes to The Fiery Cross, which is over there, by Diana Gabaldon, which is the fifth book in the Outlander series, which stacks in at an impressive 1400 plus pages. So this isn't even half that. So I know I can do it. I don't need to be intimidated by it because I think the shortest Outlander book is 900 pages and 900 pages, and this is only 600 pages, so this should be a walk in the park. But I've got the audio to help me along, and if I don't like it, I'll just DNF. Next is Earth Signs, which is read a book with a brown, green or earthy feeling cover, and for this I chose Liberation by Kate Furnivall. This is it's a sepia cover, so it's brown tones, green on the back, it's set in Italy during the Second World War. I read Kate Furnivall and absolutely loved it, so when I saw this one, somebody was giving it away for free, I was like, yeah, I'll just take it. Yeah, not much else to say on that one. The next prompt is a side quest, and for this there was a very specific, read a book by the specific author that they had, and none of us wanted to read that because none of us have even heard of the author. We weren't interested in the series, we don't own the series, so we decided to do our own side quest, and for that we've all to choose a book that was gifted or recommended by a friend, and for that I've chosen The Green Lady. Yes, this was in last month's TBR, I know, shut up. By Sue Lawrence. This was gifted to me and recommended to me by Tori, so it's going on the TBR. It's going on the TBR, and I'm going to get it read. I will. The next is for Aries, and that is read a book with a child in it, and this was actually the first one I filled the prompt for, and that is The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne. Again, I've got the audio on reserve for my library for this, so it should be really easy to get through. I've watched the film, I know the story, I just haven't actually read the book, so just read it. This is a story, as far as I'm aware, about a little boy whose dad is a schmatzy. And they go to live at this nice house that happens to be by a concentration camp. And the little boy starts speaking to one of the little boys that is an inmate, and he thinks he's strange because he wears striped pyjamas, and the servants in the house all wear striped pyjamas, and he gets to know these people and doesn't understand why the other adults around him are treating them badly. And yeah, basically it's just a child's perspective of what it's like to live in a Nazi family, his dad's in charge of the concentration camp next door, and there's mentions of smoke and stuff. I really hope I I hope it's a really good representation of what it was like, because yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I just need to read it. The next is Leo, which is my sign, which is why I've got this tattoo. And that is to read a book with an animal in it. And for that I've chosen The Secret Life of Bees, because bees are animals. Yep. This, again, I've seen the movie, haven't read the books. One of my friends at school read the book and did like essays on it in English. This is about America and racism and black people voting, and this little girl growing up with this dark past, thinking she killed her mother when she was born, or when she was 4, while also befriending her black servant and not understanding why the servant is treated badly because she's nice to her. So she's like, well, why is everyone mean to you when you're actually a really nice person? As far as I remember anyway. But they end up having to go on the run, and end up with this trio of sisters who look after bees. These black women who are free and own their land, and yeah, that's all I can remember about this, so I'll be interested to read it. Next up is Sagittarius, and that is read a book you feel will teach you something. That was a very easy one for me to choose. I chose Entangled Life by Merlin Sheldrake, and this is a non-fiction book about fungi with these gorgeous spread edges. They look more blue, I think, on here, but they're actually purple. Like, again, this looks kind of more blue, but it's the same. They actually did 3 editions with each of the colours sprayed edge, and I chose this one. Anyway, yeah, this is a non-fiction about fungi, which sounds really boring when you say it like that, but you have no idea. Again, Entangled Life, you have no idea how much of our world today we have to thank fungi for. The foods we eat, be it actually eating like mushrooms or corn, or even just the fact that there are some foods that can't be produced without fungal help. It's in our medicines, it's in building materials that we use. It's so wrapped up in our existence that if fungi didn't exist, neither would we. And I just love geeking out about biology because I love biology. Next is Fire Element, and that is read a book with a red cover. For this I've chosen A Small Island by Andrea Levy. As you can see, it is very much a red cover with this photo on top. And this is, I think, post World War II, post Windrush in the UK, and it is about people, black people from Jamaica and other areas, but it specifically is about a Jamaican man who come over to live in England and think that they're going to have a good life here because they helped with the war and they helped, you know, keep our country out of the hand of the Schmarzes. And they get here and find a lot of people are quite racist. Shocking, I know. And it's just basically about them dealing with that. Again, I think this is based on true events or true stories from people around that time, so it might not be one person's story, but it might be an amalgamation of many people's stories put into the one person, just to give it a bit more like breadth, I suppose. But again, this is the book that I bought when I was in hospital and thought it sounded really interesting, and didn't even think about the fact that it's massive. So yeah, it's 533 pages, so quite intimidating. Next is Fire Signs, read a book that was a hot topic at any time. And for this I've chosen Regeneration by Pat Barker. This is a book about World War I and about a psychiatrist who is treating shell-shocked soldiers, and he also has to make the decision as to when they're ready to go back to the front, but he's realising that it's actually probably quite inhumane to send them back to the front to be blown up and traumatised even more. So yeah, mental health, shell shock, World War I, all hot topics at one point or another. I think my tongue's gone to sleep, so yeah, I'm excited to read this. And Pat Barker is supposed to be a fantastic author. I just realised I don't know if this person is she, they, or he, but I'm sure I'll find out at some point. And again, next we've got a mini boss, and this is for your weakness. And my weakness is Problematic Preserver, never DNS a book, so once I get the prompt for that, I will fill it with something. So the next actual prompt is Cancer, read a book with a mum character in it, and for that I'm using Heartstopper Volume 5, because we all know that, you know, Nick Nelson's mum is the GOAT, And also Charlie's mum is there. Sorry, Charlie's mum. But do better. But yeah, so I'm really excited. Heartstopper Volume 5 comes out in December, and I've been waiting for this for so long. As you can see, I'm a big Heartstopper fan, so you know I'll be reading that the minute I get it in my hands. And then we have a free space, and for that free space I'm using Bookshops and Bone Dust because I really want to read it. It is the next, but I think is a prequel to Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and it follows our main character, whose name I have forgotten because I am a terrible person when it comes to names. Oh, that's terrible. I actually can't remember her name. Anyway, the orc character, who's a mercenary, she's injured and she has to stay in this town for a little while, and she comes across a bookshop. I don't actually know what it's about. I just know that it follows Viv, and there's a bookshop. Say less. I'm in. Next is Pisces. Read a book with a fish or ocean themes. For that, I've chosen An Island at War. This was actually Tori's suggestion by Deborah Carr, and it is about the Channel Islands, specifically Jersey. Yes, Jersey in the English Channel during World War II, because these two islands, Jersey and Guernsey, were occupied at one point, and yeah, island surrounded by water. There'd be a lot of naval involvement, I assume. That's all I know about it, is that it's about Jersey during the Second World War. And I've already got the Guernsey Literary and Potato Pie Society book, so this is like the Jersey equivalent of that, but it's obviously different because it's written as prose, not as letters. I'm moving on. Next up is Scorpio. Read a book with a mystery in it, and for that I've chosen The Book of Lost Names by Kirsten Harwell. This is a book about, again, people who go to Ipswich during the Second World War, and it is about decades later a book is found which has pretty much, so it says decades later the book is recovered, leaving researchers desperate to decipher its codes. So I don't know if this, I think it must be to do with, so it's to do with, I do know this, I don't know why I'm blanking. It's to do with someone who took a note of children's names during the war in the concentration camps to try and make sure that they were then joined back with their families once it was all over. And it was obviously written in code so that the Nazis didn't know what she was doing. And this is about them deciphering that book. It's a non-fiction based on, again, true events. It is a big buzzword for me. Big set of buzzwords. Based on true events, World War II. I love it. I love it so much. I don't love it. That's not the right phrasing. I love that these stories are being told. I think they're told very well quite often. And it shows how incredible people can be in the face of adversity. That's what I mean. I don't mean I love people being shoved in concentration camps, because that's just not, that's not it. That's not it. I'm going to shut up now. Next up is Water Element. Read a book with a blue cover, and for this I've chosen The Magician by Colin Tobin. I can never pronounce this man's name, even when I hear it. But yeah, look, blue. And this is again, based on true events about a man. It's a fictionalised version of a man's life, and his name is Thomas Mann. Yeah, I know, confusing. And he made the mistake of being heavily supportive of his German government during World War I, and then realised and sort of fell off that patriotism, as it were, throughout the war and during World War II. And it follows his life through those wars, through the Cold War, as he goes, I believe, to America. But he's also secretly gay. And like I say, I think this is about a real person. But it's a fictionalised version of this person's life. If not, someone has just said it seems like a real person. Like, someone must have just said it seems like a real person, and I've got it in my head that it is a real person. But we shall see. I'm really excited to get to this. He was at the Edinburgh Book Fest last year. I ended up not going because I had to work. So next up is Water Sign, and that is read an emotionally intense or a character-driven book. And for that, I've decided to put my big girl pants on and read Walking in Sunshine by Giovanna Fletcher. This is a book about friends and what happens when one of the friend group dies, and the others kind of just have to pick up the pieces around that and figure out what that means for them. And I don't think I'm going to do great with this concept, but I'm in a place now where I think I can read it now. If you don't already know, I had a friend who passed away in December from a fairly long, hard slog with cancer, and she was only just 30. And it was horrible. So this book got shoved to the back of my shelves. And I know she'd be laughing at me. So yeah, this book got shoved to the back of my shelves, but I've loved everything else Giovanna has written, so I am really excited to pick this up and see what it's like. Yeah, but it's really weird as well because two of the characters in this are called Vicky and Pia, and I have technically 3 friends called Vicky and Pia. There's one Pia, there's technically 2 Vickies, because, and she'll probably kill me for telling this, Tori's birth name is Vicky, but she doesn't like it, so she goes by Tori. So Tori and Vicky, obviously different versions of Victoria. Neither of them are called Victoria though. Like, but just, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So yeah. And the last actual book I have is another free space, and for that I've chosen Warrior Queens and Quiet Revolutionaries by Kate Moss. This is, again, one of my favourite authors of all time, and this is the only book of hers that I have not read. This is a non-fiction about the women in history who were warrior queens and quiet revolutionaries. This is one of the books, so the latest book that she wrote, The Ghost Ship, one of the characters is based off of a real person that she researched for this book. So that sparked my interest when I heard her speak about it, and I cannot wait to read this. Going to see Kate Moss was one of the best things that happened to me all year. She was incredible. She's a fantastic orator and a lovely person and a fantastic writer and researcher, historian. I just love her work, so I'm really, really excited to read this. Very, very excited to read this because she does so much work in her research. But yeah, the only thing I don't like about this is it's got one of those weird matte, like, covers. It's picking up all the dust. Anywho, I don't think I have anything else to say about this book, but I'm excited. And lastly, I don't have a book yet because the last one is Boss Battle Weapons, and that will be, again, another surprise prompt. My weapon, I have chosen a rock with googly eyes named Carl. If you want to know what that's all about, please find clear your. I'll try and tag clear your shit, or like put links and stuff down below, because to be fair, this sounds really funny to me. But yeah, that's what I'm going to choose, and whatever prompt comes up, we shall see. And I will read that when I get to it. So that is my TBR for pretty much November and December. I've averaged out like numbers for books that I don't have. So I don't have an accurate count for how many pages total that is. I've estimated it about 10,000 pages roughly. That is giving the TBD prompts an average of 350 pages per book, and also averaging out the other pre-orders that I have that I've slotted in that I don't physically have, based on Heartstopper. I've based it on the sort of middling range of how long each of those books are, and the same with the Patricia Cornwell books. Like, I've averaged it on how long her books usually are. So somewhere in the region of 10,000 pages. It's not the end of October yet, and I've already read over 6,000 pages. So technically, this TBR is doable in a month. Not going to happen though. It's not going to happen, but I'm excited to get to it. If this is the end of the year, this is the end of the year. There are a couple of other books I want to get on my TBR. Especially for December, so there's some Christmassy books that I might come back and talk about in December, and maybe do an update and see where we are. Refresh my TBR in December. I don't know. We shall see. It'll be next month anyway. So, thanks very much for watching. Because this is a little bit of a crazy TBR, if you want to leave me an emoji to let me know you were here, if you don't want to type anything, put the little brain explodey emoji, because that's how I'm feeling right now. Looking at all these books everywhere, and that's what I've still got to read for this month. If not, it's getting put on that TBR, because these are except Paris Valancourt. The other two are pre-2023 books, so yeah, wish me luck. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!